So we've got Mike Z here.
Yes.
And can you explain maybe what you're doing at ArenaNet?
My name is Mike Zadorojny. I'm a content designer on Guild Wars 2. I've been with the company since 2006.
Okay.
So I've been there for about 5 years. Started working on factions in the quality assurance department, and I'm now working in design for Guild Wars 2.
Okay, and what parts of design are you doing for the game?
I do content design, which means I do basically the spawns for a map, the events in there, the hearts, and kind of all the content and the stories that we're telling in there. This year for Gamescom, we brought all 5 races. So the humans are back with their starting experience, a little more polished, a little more fun things we've added there. The Charr now are in their starting experience as well, so the tutorial's there for them. At PAX East, we debuted the Norn tutorial, so we brought that as well. But what's really exciting for Gamescom is the Asura and the Sylvari. We brought their kind of mid-level, high-level experience for them.
Okay.
So if you start either of the Norn, Charr, human, it'll be their tutorial, their intro. But Asura or Sylvari will be kind of together in this high-level experience and kind of see what happens when you're in the mid-level.
And what level is this?
It's around level 60.
Around 60, okay.
Yeah, so it's towards the end of the game.
Okay, and what's this area called?
Sparkfly Fen.
Sparkfly Fen, okay.
Yep. So, real briefly, the other thing we brought is we also added the character customization.
Right.
So character creation is now in. The humans is in the most full form right now, but we're adding additional options for all the races, like pretty much every day. So this just happens to be the one that's the most fullest. So we give some of this, there are some sliders, but we're very kind of conservative in terms of our approach. Like, we don't want you to be able to make a giant bobblehead style character.
Right.
So like we'll give you some, like eyebrow thickness and stuff like that, but it's not going to be really extreme.
Okay.
We also kind of have some kind of generic physiques that you can build your character. Like if you want to be a more bulky style warrior or kind of a smaller, thin character, we give you those options.
Okay.
So obviously we give you a bunch of different hairstyles and you can change the color.
So this was all new. This was previous demos. This wasn't available.
This is brand new. Like literally, we just got this. So as everything, it's always in development. So there's a good chance we might remove a couple, but we're probably going to be adding a lot more as well. So we got a couple different kind of face choices, how rugged your character wants to be. You can change the skin color of your character too if you want to be more of a darker. We got a couple beards. So these are the other sliders I was talking about. Like you can actually change the angle how the eye is rotated, but you can't go really extreme.
Okay.
So you make a very angry looking guy. And again, some for the nose, same with the mouth, kind of if you want to have a bigger lip. How wide you want it to be. So the other thing that we've done for this is that when you're going through the character creation process, we ask you kind of what your default colors are for various pieces that you're wearing.
Okay.
The systems actually will intelligently try to match any new armor you pick up with the colors you've selected.
Huh.
So you don't need to re-dye everything every time you get a new thing. So you don't have to look like your rainbow color unless you choose to be that.
Yeah, sure. But you can always change it again later on.
Yes, correct.
With the dye system.
And then it'll save that, and then if you pick something else up, then it'll try. So their fur, the patterns that are on their fur. There we go, Thundercats. And for them, like the horn style. So.
Cool. Wow.
Depends on how badass you want your Charr looking, right?
Background.
Yeah, so this is the biography where we ask you personal questions. This pretty much, it tailors your intro experience, and then there will be additional questions in-game that will tailor your later experience as well.
Okay.
So, like, there's 15 different storylines from the very beginning, including each race and kind of the choices you make here, but then it branches immediately from there in terms of what you're going to be choosing along the way.
Okay.
so like some of these questions are very specific. Like this one is very, the Charr grew up in these war bands. They're more important than their family. And so you kind of pick who's your favorite or like the one you like the most out of the war band. There's a short little description about that.
Yeah, okay.
And then another story kind of about who your father was. Was he just like an honorless gladiator? Was he a sorcerer, or was he just a loyal soldier?
And this would have an effect. It tells you down here how it'll have an effect on.
Well, it tells you a little bit more about the history, but this again, once you get in, the story is going to be tailored to you based on the Charr tutorial, which basically is when the Charr came back down south and they were taking back Ascalon, when they busted down the gate, the human king Adalbern refused to surrender, and he basically cursed all of his citizens to become ghosts. So the ghosts are now assaulting the city, 200 years later after this event happened.
This was the story of the book as well?
Yes.
Okay. I also noticed, I think last year they had the armor set. For the shield, they glowed in the dark.
So the new thing with the skill system is that we don't have tiers of skills. It's not like, okay, I need to go back to a trainer and buy a new version of the skill. But what we will do is we're going to start you out with one skill of the entire weapon set. And as you are engaging in targets and as you kill them, like you're going to start learning the skill. So like now I'm like 10% into the next skill, 20%.
Okay. So it levels up as you use it.
Yes, and then once you've learned all 5 skills, that's it. Like there's no more. It's not like a real big grind to get all the skills associated with it. But we wanted to make it so that when you're playing with it, you were learning the weapons, you were getting a feel for them, and understood how to actually use them and interact with them.
That's just for weapon skills.
Just weapons.
What about shields? No, nothing.
So the way it works is, if you have a two-handed weapon, it's that's all 5 of your skills. If you have a one-handed weapon, it's your first 3, and your offhand is 2.
Okay.
So like if you start with a sword and you max that out and then you switch to a mace, you'll still have to level up those first 3 skills for that.
Right.
But the shield is that 4 or 5 slot.
Okay. It doesn't take too long, does it? I mean,
No. Like I killed 2 guys, I'm already 20% on this one.
All right. Okay. And as far as the other skills, those will be. You have to find those. You won't go to a trainer again.
No. So as you're leveling up, we're just going to we're going to adjust the skills. But there's also traits in the game that are going to modify them as well. We aren't really talking about the whole trait system yet. It's still in development, but it's still basically being refined.
Okay.
All right. So this is our first dynamic event in the game. Basically, there are other players who are going and killing the tutorial boss. So we're being asked to stand outside and defend the gates from the ghosts that are attacking until they're done. Class kind of has a unique mechanism about them. The Guardian's version is that he's got these things called virtues. So he's got 3 abilities: Virtue of Justice, Resolve, and Courage, that basically, as they're active, give them these special powers. What Justice does is it makes it so every time he attacks, this little fire kind of gets bigger and bigger. On the 5th one, it'll cause burning on his target. Resolve basically gives him more natural regeneration than some of the other classes. And Courage basically, like once every 30 seconds or so, he'll just automatically block an incoming attack.
Oh, okay.
But he can sacrifice the virtue for himself to grant a buff to all allies around him.
Okay.
So, like if I activate the Virtue of Justice, now all NPCs around me, including these guys, not even in my party, the next attack they'll do will cause burning.
Oh, okay, cool.
And then it takes a little bit for it to recharge.
So you don't have to be in the party, So that goes kind of with the philosophy of if you show up to a
basically,
event, you can get involved.
If you see somebody else in the world, it's not going to be a hindrance. They're not going to take anything from you. We're making it so you want to run into these players, and you don't need to be in a party in order to play with them.
Right. Okay.
So if you sacrifice Resolve, you basically lose some of that natural regen for yourself, but you're going to give them a little more regen for a little bit. And Courage makes everybody block their next attack.
Okay.
So to say that they're a tank is it's a little misnomer because it's like anybody can be a tank. It's more about like how are you going to help or benefit.
Okay. Now this will be on PC. Will it also be on Mac? Do you know?
We're designing it for PC. I'm not sure what's going to happen with Mac.
Okay. And now it's it's getting into. You're showing off more and more in these demos, so he must be a bit more and more confident about it. Any idea like when the beta would be starting up, or?
It's hard to say. I mean, we want to make sure that we've got enough in the game that it's going to keep players entertained. We get good feedback from them. Because the big thing is like we're not going to launch the game until we're fully confident that this is the game that people want to play.
So another boss along.
Yeah. So basically, we beat him up, and he doesn't like that, so he went and possessed the statue, and now the statue's kind of angry with us. And he's kind of big. So like I said, like the camera's already further back than it normally is, so that you can kind of get the full scope of what's going on.
Right.
And so each of the tutorial bosses, and even the ones we showed off last year, we've kind of tailored them a little bit more, given them a couple abilities. Like this guy now summons ads. He also bangs his hammer into the ceiling and will cause things to fall down from the sky and knock players down.
Don't stand in the circle area.
Exactly. So we've also made the UI, that kind of area effect kind of stuff basic as well. You saw the red circle, basically means bad stuff's about to happen there, get out. If you see white, it basically means it's something you're doing or an ally or it's indifferent to you, it doesn't matter. And then if it's blue, then it's like a healing thing and you probably want to stay here.
I mean, this guy's pretty big. Again, you know, we'll find ourselves as a warrior or guardian sitting down here battering against the...
True, but there's other things going on, like he's summoning ads. There's usually a couple things that you can do in the encounter, so it's not just, okay, I'm going to go do this the entire time.